Started with Kamani. Hutch, go ahead and get started, please.
Yeah, Kamani, I'm curious how much you've looked at UConn already, and if you have any early impressions of that matchup.
We started looking at them right after their game ended, and we knew we were going to play them. We had a practice last night and kind of like a film and walkthrough session. And obviously, we're going to practice and go over them, here on out. I think we match up well with them. It's just going to be another war. Obviously, they have two pretty good bigs, and they surround the bigs with some pretty good pieces. So we've been looking at them, but I think we match up well with them.
I was curious. I don't know how much y'all have matched up in practice because different positions or whatever. I'm curious from a player's perspective. What's it like being defended by Jordan Walsh? Like, what kind of challenge is that when you got Walsh trying to lock you up?
Jordan, he's super active on the defensive end, and he's long and kind of moves well for his size, and he's pretty strong too. So I know, when we kind of go at it in practice and guard each other, he's pretty good on defense.
Scotty?
Yeah, Kamani, you mentioned UConn's got a couple of pretty solid bigs. Sonogo, I think, was a honorable mention, All-American. Do you have any impressions on him, or just kind of what stands out to you about him?
Yeah, he's like super active, big. He's kind of like Oscar-like with his motor and just how he crashes the glass and how aggressive and physical he is. But he's super skilled in the post too. So, we've been watching film on him, and we're game planning towards it. I think we'll be fine though.
I think there's been like 10 or more games this year where you finished with more offensive boards than defensive boards. What is it about you that allows you to just carve out space and grab offensive boards? What kind of like how are you wired that way?
Just the game plan for us, Muss always says, is to get extra possessions because especially in March, the games come down to like a couple possessions, as you guys see. So just try to get like extra possessions for the team. That's kind of been like Muss's theme and game plan ever since I've been here. So it's kind of like just me trying to be a star in my role.
Curtis?
Hey, Kamani, I wanted to ask you a follow-up on Jordan Walsh. He's gone through the ups and downs that any freshman will, but it seems like he's just really stepped up in the tournament for you guys so far. Just what have you made of the way he's played and the impact he's had?
Yeah, when you're a freshman, you kind of got to get used to things, and it could kind of be difficult when you come here and things don't go your way. But if anything, it's just credits to him. When the lights are bright, he's showing up and performing, and that's what we needed from him right now, and that's what we're getting. So I think he's been a great addition in March, and he's kind of been an X factor on why we're winning these games.
Just curious, how validating has it been for you guys to reach this point, just with the ups and downs, the obstacles that you've faced this year? You've kind of wound up where people expected you to be in the beginning.
Yeah, our goal from the start of the season was to win a national championship. And then, of course, some injuries and things happened. And it just felt good to get to the Sweet 16. But, now it's kind of like our goal is still the same. So I don't think anybody here is like satisfied. We're going down to Vegas to get us two more and then, try to get to Houston. So that's kind of our game plan. And I think everybody in the locker room has the same mindset.
Bob?
Hey, Kamani, how you doing? You're making me famous on Twitter.
We always go famous, Bob. No cap.
Okay, thank you. Hey, you started the SEC tournament game against Auburn, then you don't play against A&M, but I watch you on the bench. You're always enthusiastic. You're always supporting guys. Then you start the tournament games, and in 31 minutes, I think you got 15 boards, and were really key in those games. I think a lot of guys, they didn't start a game, they wouldn't react real well to it, but it doesn't seem to impact your attitude or how you play. How do you deal with that, going from not playing and then you play really big in two NCAA tournament games?
Yeah, I think you just I just always been a team player, and I can just do whatever I need to do to help the team win, and that's kind of been my mindset. And I know like I have more experience than anybody here, so I kind of got to be the voice from the bench and help in that way too. So I think you just always got to stay ready for your moment. That's something that I learned by being here and playing under Muss. It's like, there might be games where you don't play, but you're just as important as the people on the court. And I think everybody on our team understands that. And, just playing for Muss, you just learn that.
And then I had a question about Jordan too. I guess you're getting inundated with these questions, but you look, a lot of people have a tendency to look at points, right? Media, fans, whoever, but players maybe too. And Jordan scored okay, but I think he's averaging about 7 points or some, and I think he scored 60 in those 2 games. But he just impacts the game in so many different ways and things that don't show up in the box score. And I was talking to AB about this, and he said, maybe his role wasn't what he imagined at the start of the season. I'm guessing I thought he'd score more, whatever. But how have you thought about the way he sort of evolved? And he said he really doesn't care if he scores. He wants to play defense and rebound. Obviously he wants to score too, probably. But what have you thought about the way he's accepted the role and doing all the kind of a lot of the unseen little things to help you guys win?
Yeah, you learn here quick that, everybody really can't score, and you kind of have to find your role and be a star in your role, and that's how you're going to get on the floor and get minutes from us. And I think Jordan just adapted really, really well. He kind of got down a little bit, but I like the way that he bounced back and kind of just bought in. I think right now Jordan Walsh is just super bought into what Muss is saying and the staff is saying and just how we do things here, and that's why he's having the success that he's having.
And nothing AB said after the game was that he wasn't having a real good game offensively. Nick struggled. Jordan doesn't score a ton, but he said they kind of turned it over to the vets, guys like yourself and Devo and Ricky, older guys who'd played in the NCAA tournament before. I guess Ricky played at Wichita, I think. What'd you think about that? Maybe guys deferring to y'all a little bit, who the young stars, and just the way you old guys or the OGs came through.
I like that, Bob. Bob, the growth is crazy this year for me and you. But no, I think it just tells you how deep and versatile our group is. Our group is, and it's glad that the young guys trust us to handle stuff and they not force it, and as vets and OGs, we trust them right back to do their thing and rock out there, and it just shows you how deep our team is and how versatile our team is, and that's kind of one of the scariest things about us, because you never know who's going to be on that night and where the attack is going to come from. So I think that just shows you how versatile and deep our team is.
Yeah, thanks, Kamani.
Courtney?
Hey, Kamani, I just have a quick question for you. You guys are the 8 seed. It's tough to get to this point as an 8 seed. You look at the history, years past, only 5%, I believe, make it to the Elite 8 past this. It's just a tough path for any 8 seed in the tournament. What about this team makes you think you can go all the way and, solidify yourselves in history as a team that gets all the way to the championship as an 8 seed?
I just think with our team, talent never been the problem. We had problems during the season, but I think in our games, if you think about our 2 Alabama games, we were up big in the second half. We kind of let those drop. We let one at A&M drop. We battled against Creighton. When it comes to certain games, I look throughout the season, we just struggled, but I don't think we ever had the attitude like that. We were going in thinking we were going to lose these games. We kind of just let things slip away. And, during March, we're kind of figuring out those problems and switching the flip back on. We're not dropping leads. We're answering the runs and stuff like that. So we're just peaking in March, I think. And, this team is talented. Like I said earlier, our goal was to win a national championship. And, it's still our goal. We didn't really care what seed number we got.
Thanks, Kamani.
Of course.
Jacob? Sorry, Jonathan?
Hey, Kamani. Coach Muss has now taken 3 different teams to this stage in consecutive years. What is it about Coach Muss this time of year that gets the best out of you guys and out of his team that allows you guys to make these runs in March?
I just think it's just the preparation. We're probably, I'm not even going to say probably, we're definitely the most prepared team going into a game. I think in March, when you kind of get matched up with different conferences and different teams and different styles, that just helps a lot. And then I mean, we kind of always just tend to peak in March. It's kind of weird. I feel like I'm having like deja vu or something. So I don't really have no answer to that, but I guess it's just like Musk's philosophy or something. I don't know.
Andrew, final question.
Yeah, Kamani, I think Bob mentioned, Nick has struggled the last few games. I'm curious, as an older guy, as a veteran, do you try to take him aside and try to say anything encouraging? Like, how do you handle that? Are you trying to be a good, how's he doing?
Yeah, I mean, Nick hasn't had the 2 games that he wanted to have, but I mean, Nick's a basketball player. He's a dog. He's him for that reason. So I mean, we're in his ear. We're giving him encouragement. I mean, I don't think anybody on the team has lost any type of trust or faith in him. We know who he is, and we know what he can do. You know what I mean? So it's 2 games. Them 2 games are over with. It's a new city, and I expect Nick to have big games.
Thanks, Kamani. Appreciate your time.
All right, y'all.
You guys must have had ESP or something, knowing that Jordan Walsh is going to be following up Kamani. So with that, we'll bring in Jordan.
I do get ESPN.
Okay, Bob, go ahead and get started.
Okay. Well, hey, Jordan. We talked about this a little bit in Des Moines, but your plus, the plus with you on the court for the 2 games is just really unbelievable. What do you think about that? I guess how much pride do you take in the fact that when you're on the court, obviously there are other guys there too, but you guys are really outscoring the other team by big margins.
I take a lot of pride in like the small things that help the team win, and I feel like the plus minus is just a reflection of what you do to help the team win. And with me, with me being the guy who's going to dive on the floor for loose balls or guard their best player and get a stop or 2, I feel like those things are reflected by that, and that's what's most important to me. Of course, that and winning. So I feel like it's a reflection of kind of like what's most important to me when it comes to competing and winning a game.
Now, I was talking to Anthony, I guess, after the game the other day, and he mentioned maybe your role hasn't been exactly what you envisioned. I'm sure when you come in as a McDonald's All-American, wherever you are, whoever you are, you probably think, well, I'm going to score a bunch and do all this stuff I did in high school. It doesn't always work out that way. What were you anticipating, and then maybe how have things evolved to where you're being such a valuable player, even though you're not, scoring 20 points a game or whatever?
Coming into college, as McDonald's All-American, most people think like the way you just said, I want to go out and score 20 points and get 10 assists and 12 rebounds. But that wasn't really my mentality coming in. To me, coming in, it was just, if I can help us win like at a high level, like in March, and hopefully have us to be the last game that's playing on television to be the championship, then I'll be able to achieve the things that I want to achieve without having to score 20, without having to like come off ball screens the whole game or do stuff like that. But it's just my role has just kind of fell into being that glue guy. We have a lot of older guys who are better at scoring and better at reading plays than I am, like Devo and Ricky. They're bred for these type of scenarios. So you could say I have the easy job, just picking up what's left, and that's kind of what I've done, and I've been successful with it so far, and so I'm gonna keep doing whatever it takes to win. And if that's it, that's what I'll do.
Me and Scotty were talking about this earlier. I guess there was a play where you made Wilson take a shot and it like went over the goal. I was wondering if you remembered that. And how much were you matched up on him, or what all different guys did you cover Saturday?
So before the game, Coach Musk told me that my guarding assignment would be all 4 guards, like everybody on the perimeter, including the 4-man. So I during that game, I probably got a chance to guard every single person on the roster at some point in the game, for sure. And obviously I had to, read the scouting report and learn their strengths and weaknesses and tendencies that makes them such a good player. And that's what I did. And then whenever I was matched up on them, it was just like playing into the scouting report. And that's what I did, and took advantage and played great defense.
Okay, thanks.
Scotty.
Yeah, Jordan, just maybe, I don't know how deep y'all have gotten into UConn yet, but maybe first impressions on UConn's perimeter guys and maybe some pieces that you may end up defending.
Yeah, we've been able to cover their team a little bit. We're gonna do even more in a little bit. But for the most part, like everybody knows, they're big man. He's dominant. We're working on containing him along with some of their guards who are high scoring guards. We have to focus on them as well. They're a really good team. They've come this far in the season, so I bet that says too much to how much they've been working and they've been grinding this season. So it's going to be a good game, and we're just excited to be able to compete again.
And then I think Ricky maybe struggled a little bit in Nashville at the conference tournament, but played really big role for you guys in your 2 wins last week. Just what maybe impressed you most about the way Ricky bounced back?
It's just what impressed me was that he did bounce back, and he never let his confidence be wavered just because he had a couple of bad games. He played the best of his ability. Obviously some games do not go as planned, but now that we're in the big lights and we're in the tournament, we're getting deeper and deeper, he's playing better and better. So I feel like that says a lot about his character and about his mentality and the way that he approaches the game.
Hutch?
Jordan, I'm curious how does your confidence now compare to maybe at the beginning of the year and maybe in the middle of the year where you were, had a little bit of struggles there in the middle of the season?
I feel like, March brings out the dog in people, and it's bringing out the dog in me, and it's boosted all attributes of my game. I feel like it's made me to be even more of a competitor than I already was, and I feel like for those reasons, it's brought my confidence is skyrocketed to be able to, help my team win in any situation.
And I know you fouled out the other day, but it was after you played like 33, 34 minutes. What's the key to playing now without fouling? Like, what's the key to staying on the floor for you?
It's just a mentality of, keeping in mind the small things that I used to do that fouls. It would be a lot of just ticky-tack on-ball stuff or even off-ball stuff. It would just be small stuff like me putting my hand on somebody once they start driving, just small stuff like that I had to, get out of my routine and break that habit so that I'll be able to stay on the court longer and help my team longer.
Bob, you got follow up?
Yeah, I do, if that's okay. Jordan, I meant to ask you this the other day and I forgot. I'm getting so old, I forget things. But the play where Ricky hit the free throw, then he missed it with like 20 seconds left, and then he credited you with tipping the ball. I think it went off Wilson, then you tipped the ball to him. And of course, that didn't show up in the box score, tipped ball to teammate for crucial free throws or whatever. But what do you remember about that play? And that just, to me, typifies stuff you do that, are winning plays.
What's crazy about that play was I wasn't even about to like spin off of him and go that way until I talked to Kamani. And Kamani, he's the offensive rebounding expert on our team. So I called after Ricky made the first one. I went over to Kamani and I was like, "Hey, Kamani, like I should X and I come over and you come over." And he was like, "No, don't do that. Just spin off of him and the ball will come straight to you." I was like, "Okay, I got you." And so I lined up, I spun off of him. The ball came off the rim perfectly. And, with my long arms, I was able to hit it kind of like off the backboard a little bit so that it hit the backboard and bounced back towards Ricky. And then he ended up catching it and laid it up again, got another foul. So things worked out perfectly. Credit to Kamani Johnson for telling me to spin.
And speaking of Kamani and Devo, the older guys, AB sort of said that you all, the younger guys, obviously you guys played key roles in that win, but he said they kind of let the vets take the game over a little bit there, at least offensively. What'd you think about the way the older guys played, and especially Kamani? Here's a guy who doesn't even play against A&M in Nashville, and he starts the 2 tournament games, and I think in 31 minutes he's got 15 boards, like 11 offensive, something crazy like that. What do you think about how the vets carried you all the other day, and then especially how Kamani plays when he didn't even play the last tournament game, just the positive attitude he always seems to have?
Yeah, for playing from us, you always got to be ready to step in and help the team. Obviously, guys like Joseph Payne got in the game, Sword got in the game. Like those guys played crucial time. At the ending of the game, I feel like they got to stop to just secure that win. And I feel like that says a lot. I feel like that like goes through with everybody on our team, like even Kamani. Like he could catch a DNP one game. We actually talked about this after the game. He's like, man, I just caught a DNP. Now I'm starting, and now I'm playing 30 minutes. I was like, bro, Kamani, like you know what it is with Muss. Like you know anything is possible with Muss. He was like, yeah, you're right. You reminded me, and I'm the vet. So it was cool to have that interaction with him. Obviously they've been there before, so the pressure on them is decreased. So as things, got tight, we relied on our vets, and the vets, they took over, they did what they were supposed to do. They led the team to victory, and, we trusted in them, and we're going to keep doing that for the rest of the season.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jordan. Appreciate your time.
For sure.
Takes work.